Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. Every day, 10 a.m. EDT, baby. And if you're not watching this live, that's okay, because all this content we do here at BitLab Academy, although we do look at the price action and what's going on in the markets of the moment, we tie that into the concepts and strategies so that you can watch these videos at any time to gain a better understanding and bridge that gap from beginner to pro so that you can navigate these markets. So welcome to the show. My name is Kellam, and it is an honor to be hosting this and to have all of you here. Shout out to everybody in chat that shows up so early. Alexandra G in the house, Mr. Alex Green, Justin Eubanks, Total Clinic Solutions, finally here early. Welcome to the show, my brother. Taz Goggs, who else we got in here? Blazing 2Js, Scott Rod 17, Tenacious B, Brokoshi No Dinero. Love it. How's everybody doing? How you feeling? I hope you had a good weekend. I kind of balanced mine with quite a bit of rest. And then, of course, still a lot of work to be done. We're doing the final touches on all the BitLab updates. I'll be going over that in a moment, but we got a lot to jump in here today. Of course, we are going to, if you're not yet, if you're watching this over at the Hit Network, shout out to all of you. Make sure that you come over here and you follow BitLab Academy. Check out BitLab Academy, but follow all of these correct socials down here. Come over and check us out at youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. But we're going to be going through a lot of different charts today, some signals, and also some indications that we may be having an April push up. We're maybe setting up for another bit of upside on Bitcoin, a number of altcoins. Start throwing your altcoins into chat right now. This is the benefit of being here early. These are the ones that are going to be focused on. And of course, anybody that helps support the channel and does any super chats, whether it's just a nice comment, whether you're commenting on this incredible Bitcoin hat, my favorite hat right now, or if you have specific coins that you want me to look at and do TA on, we're going to be talking about price targets, how we determine those price targets to the upside. And this can work on crypto assets or traditional assets as well, but we're going to be covering Bitcoin, altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, and then a number of other coins. Let me know over the weekend, did you DCA? Did you pick up anything? Did you sell out? What did you do this weekend? Did you sit on your hands and wait for a setup? Let me know. And also, shout out to everybody that's been here from the start. We've been going for, almost 3 months now, and I cannot be prouder to show that we are already pushing up to near 6,000 followers, as you can see right here over at the BitLab YouTube page. So if you have not yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, join our community, get involved in the chat. I want to see this chat flying today. I want you asking questions. I want this to be engaging. This is not about me talking at you. This is about me sharing my experience, hearing where you're at. If you have sticking points, if you have anything to add, I'm going to be trying to make a much larger point of tuning in with chat. And I'm going to allocate about 10 or 12 minutes later on in the show. So get those questions asked. Just put hashtag sticking point or hashtag anything, but hashtag, and then I'll have the mods will be tuning into that, and I'll also be watching the chat. Mods, you can go ahead and shoot me a message on our private, the mod Discord, the live stream alerts. Let me know. And if there's any coins that a lot of people are saying they're interested in that maybe I haven't hit yet, let me know there in the Discord, in the mod Discord. And then for all of you that are out there, we've got an amazing community over at bitlabacademy.com. This is a page. Come and sign up. Put your email right here. You're going to be notified when all these updates go live, as well as I'm going to be getting back to my regularly scheduled programming of sending out some charts, some signals, and that's all free content, and also some other tools and resources. So get involved here, and by getting involved in this free newsletter, you also get entered to win access to a free month, access to the courses and the indicators. And of course, this is the new website. We've got a lot of stuff that's coming from on-chain analysis, technical analysis, candles, candle patterns, trading fundamentals, psychology of trading. What else do we got coming out? Bitcoin 101, blockchain 101, psychology of trading, indicators, not just a BitLab trading stack, everything from the RSI, stochastics, MACD, VPVR, volume, price action, support and resistance. We're breaking it all down in individual courses. And then those courses are broken down into specific individual videos between 5 and 15 minutes. So you can do this at your own pace. We have tracks if you want to go through a specific technical analysis track or specific trading strategies, or you want to learn better analysis. We've got it all here in BitLab. And of course, we've got an amazing Discord, and the mods will be throwing the links there in the chat. So we got a lot to cover today. Again, we're going to be breaking down a bunch of charts, both fundamental and technical charts about what's going on. Of course, we see a lot of news that just came out regarding the oil prices and what's happening. Where we at? The oil prices here. Oil prices soar after OPEC announces price production cuts. Well, this could be in line for something critical. So stay with us here through this whole show. Let's see how long we can get that average watch time up. Stay with us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding that bell, because it really helps the engagement here on YouTube and let YouTube know that you are into this crypto content. We put a lot of time and effort, so that's the easiest way you can support this channel is hit that like button, hit that subscribe, of course. And any super chats are a great help to the channel as well. We got a huge team working on all this, so I'm going to make a point to make sure we read every super chat as they come through. And big love to everybody. Shout out to the entire community that's here. Let's go ahead and dive in. And again, my name's Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily live stream. So what is going on? If you have not yet, fill out the your thoughts on the poll there, because I'm curious what you think. Do you think this is the OPEC, the oil prices, this cut in production? Is this bullish for markets? Is it bearish? Is it more nuanced? I think there's a hint there of what the answer is, but I'm curious what your thoughts are. But there's a lot of signals right now about what possibly could be developing for Bitcoin, crypto, and altcoins. And although I don't want to say I don't care about oil, it drives the world economy, but I don't trade oil. But looking at things like this, looking at the broader context of what's happening in markets and global markets, and something as impactful as oil, which the global economy really is tied to, okay, gives you an incredible edge as to see what is likely going to play out, or what impact, different economic factors, how they could provide a more bullish context or a bearish narrative to the markets, meaning likely forecasting, which is what we do when we trade, forecasting price going up or forecasting price likely going down. And sometimes something like today's news or this weekend's news, this right here, oil prices soar after OPEC announces production cuts. This could be both bullish and bearish. Now, if you're watching this today, April 3rd, 2023, we are living in the future. If you're watching this today or in 6 months from now, I want you to stick with us, because it doesn't necessarily matter what the actual exact price action is today as it relates to you learning strategy concepts and how to navigate this market. What we are going to be breaking down is why certain news stories like this, and in the future, if you're watching this in the future, it could be other stories, but this can have both a bullish and a bearish impact on the markets. Now, why do I say this? I say this because there could be both a short-term bullish impact, but a longer-term bearish impact. Because what do we say here on this channel regularly? And I really try to make sure that, let me pull this up. I really try to make sure that I drive this home as often as possible. And that is coming over here back to the charts. This is, of course, a map that I made back in January of ideas of essentially how smart money and dumb money plays. And what do we want to be? Well, the answer is we want to be smart money. We want to make those investment decisions down here when everybody's scared, down here when everybody's scared, and be able to take advantage of this upside price action. How do we do that? We do that through careful, patient data analysis, technical analysis, and having a strategy in place, not trading emotionally. Now, again, this leads to the bigger picture. So as I was saying with oil, this news that came out, whatever the news is today or whatever the news is in 6 months or 2 years, no matter what, we are always in, it's almost like if you ever think of the Russian nesting dolls. What do I mean by that? Let's see, Russian nesting dolls. The Russian nesting dolls are these dolls that, you know, basically they keep breaking down smaller and smaller and smaller. Similarly, when we look at market cycles, we need to understand the macro concept. We need to understand the midterm concept. And we need to understand that there's also a micro or small time frame concept. So large time frame, medium time frame, and small time frame. We could be in a macro bear market or a macro bull market. Let's say in this case, we've started this bull market. But even within this bull market, even looking at this simple line right here, we could see a bull market has started, but we also see a bull market with the midterm reversal bear market, okay? And then even within the smaller time frame, we see a full market cycle here. This entire thing, this could be the macro cycle, but we also see this entire structure play out in the smaller midterm cycle here, and similarly on smaller time frames. So when we're looking at the markets, and we're trying to figure out and piece together what's going on with the news. We're trying to figure out how we can forecast where price is going, which is how we profitably navigate this market. We need to understand this concept, macro, midterm, and micro. Now, what do they say? And we had a wonderful guest on Friday. He will be back. He will be back regularly, Mr. Bill Noble. You know, and that is a lot of traditional asset traders. And it's bled into crypto markets as well. Sell in May and walk away. There's a lot to unpack there. Part of the reason with that is because we've seen traditionally in markets that there is a lot of sort of correlated volatility of price action that happens in January through May. You know, coming off the end of the year where people are essentially offsetting their balance sheets, selling to, you know, offset losses or buying to, there's just a lot going on with assets and institutions and individuals. And then also you have people needing to, you know, basically tax harvesting, basically selling at the end of the year, at the end of, you know, at the end of December, to make sure if their portfolios are in a loss, they can essentially account for some of that loss to offset a lot of their gains. There's people needing to reallocate, take money off the table so that they can pay taxes. This is in the early part of the year, going into all the way in through March and early April. Now, through all of this, and then once that tax burden is off, this is primarily in this case as it relates to the U.S. markets, but there's taxes in nations the world over. There's a lot of just account and portfolio and personal asset and institutional asset management that's happening that first quarter of the year. And we also tend to see, you know, especially when we're going into the start of a bearish trend reversal, that we can have strong movements in the early part of the year, as we've seen this year. But then does that mean it's just going to be up, up, up and away? Well, we know institutional traders tend to be at their desks, you know, January through about May. And then there tend to be summer vacation. There tend to be, you know, the tax money that if there's a tax refunds that get distributed, that's sort of plays out in mostly from mid-March through the beginning of May. And then there's a dry up of liquidity within markets. And so we've seen this play out time and time again. If we jump to the screen, we can see here. Let's come over to, let's come to the NASDAQ and let's look at the 12-hour auto, and we can see, let's see, where is May? All right, here we go. So here we are. We had a strong push. Look at, so May starts end of April and into May. We have basically sell off with a small, basically W bottom at the bottom consolidation. And then the second half of May, we had a push and then a pullback. Now, if we come over here to Bitcoin, actually, I want to come right over here. If we look right here, let's go to auto, back it off. Let's go to April, May. Look at this at the start of, basically start of May, right at the end of April. Look at this sell off. Now, of course, this time is different, right? Because now we're in the start of a bull market. However, let's go ahead and turn off all of these lines and indicators. We can see that we're having a strong push up and a correction. Now, if we look at this on a time-based level, this is roughly 60 days. Okay, let's actually do this right here. Let's go to date range so this stays on. So it's about 60 days from push up to correction. Now, where we're at right now is we can see we're about 27, 30, about 30 days through. So let's see what happened on a similar time frame when we had a push up about 30 days, 33 days here. Okay, we see push up, rejection, another push up. This was basically the halfway point that then we broke down. So what I'm trying to allude to here is that on a time-based level, although sell may seem like it's some sort of indication is the end of a bull market, this is not at all what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say here is that we have to have in our mind the understanding that price action never goes like this. Sorry, like this. Price action always, whether it's up or down, moves like this, down. If this is a bull trend, right? You could even have a scarier, you know, something, you're having stair steps to the upside. Now, if that's the case, and we're having, look how strong this push is right here. We could see we've had a 44% push with no meaningful correction. So does this mean that the bull market is, this bullish impulse is over and that we are going to immediately correct? No, I do not believe it is. However, if we're thinking about this whole concept of sell in May and go away, but we're seeing this strength in the market. We're seeing, I mean, look at NASDAQ. It's basically pushing up against trend resistance here, but we're seeing Dow Jones explode. Why is this? Well, we're talking about the macro here so that we can lend ourselves better context when we dive into all the TA that we're going to do on Bitcoin and Ethereum, Cardano and XRP and Crow, and throw your altcoins that you're interested in. Throw the altcoins that you need some TA in the chat right now. Let me know what the last thing is you DCA. Let me know what the next thing is that you're looking to DCA in crypto. Throw it in the chat. Get this chat active. I want to know what's going on in your minds, what your plans are, so we can attack this. And the reason why we're looking at NASDAQ and dollar index and S&P 500 and Dow Jones is because these have a broad impact on our understanding of where the market's assertion is, where the market's psychology is about pricing and where they think the future is. Because price action moves in relation to forecasting future price action, where they think, if people are buying here, it's because they think price is going to be higher. Okay, and we're seeing Dow Jones rip right now while the NASDAQ is looking like it's a little stagnated. We are seeing the S&P 500 push up, but it's nothing like the Dow Jones. Why is this? Well, let's look at this word right here, industrial average. The Dow Jones is the basket. It's an index of more industrial related companies. So when we see oil prices or oil production, I should say, being cut from OPEC countries by a third, this is going to send oil prices higher, thus making the industrial average also have stronger bullish impulses than the tech sector. We can also understand that when we're talking about liquidity flows within markets, we've talked about this before, where it's I think it's let me pull this up. TED Talks macro, wonderful TED Talks. There we go. And I've shared this before. But that is this, let's see where it's at. I saw it earlier. This right here. So we've got this basically liquidity flow, Bitcoin, Ethereum, large cap, other altcoins, and then, true alt season when you're seeing things just explode. Similarly, we can look at the global context of what's going on with the traditional assets, because if this is the case for crypto, the crypto ecosystem, And the crypto ecosystem takes a little bit of its sort of direction and risk on, risk off narrative from the leading sort of global markets. Then we can look at NASDAQ and Dow Jones and the Dixie and the S&P 500. And if we see these things pushing, and for instance, we saw NASDAQ and S&P slightly outperforming Dow Jones before, especially most specifically, let me reiterate, the tech sector of the markets has been performing better than most of the other assets within the traditional market ecosystem. Now, some of those things are not moving as fast, and we're seeing that liquidity being pulled out of those and moving into Dow Jones because now the narrative is oil. Oil prices are going to go up. So this could lead to an allocation of liquidity to these other traditional assets within the traditional asset ecosystem. So if we're seeing this push up, and we're seeing also Bitcoin, let's kind of come out of here, and we're seeing Bitcoin dominance sitting where it is. Let's go to auto. We're seeing Bitcoin dominance sitting where it is. Let's go on the 3-day, sitting where it is on this basically. I'm going to double click on this, minimize that indicator. We could see that it's basically oscillating between these two, this range, support and resistance, support down here, resistance up here. And we're seeing Bitcoin having performed well, but we're also looking at the price, looking here on the 3-day, we're seeing this strong sort of push, but we're seeing a little bit of a pause. Putting all these pieces of the puzzle together is what healthy analysis is so that you can navigate this market. So we're seeing liquidity pour out of the tech sector now, pausing that a little bit, and we're seeing it kind of liquidity flow into the Dow Jones, but we're seeing strong pushes in the traditional asset space. And we're also seeing Bitcoin having sort of pushed up a lot stronger than the traditional assets. And why do I know that? Because we can come over here. We can go to Jan Westfield. And I think I shared this chart the other day. Let's see if I can find it. This is Bitcoin performing against, I don't know where it's at. Bitcoin is very significantly outperforming other, here we are. This is Bitcoin, SPX, NASDAQ, and yeah, is out. And we can see, look how much Bitcoin has outperformed. Now, if we're seeing strength within traditional assets, and everybody still has, there's still bears out there that think there's going to be this dip all the way down to 8,000. I don't think that's as likely. I do think we're going to get a pullback. But if we're seeing Bitcoin having had such a strong push up, and now we're seeing liquidity flow into Dow Jones and NASDAQ, and does this mean that Bitcoin's not going to see a continued rise? No, there's a lot of people that are only in Bitcoin and not traditional assets. But people with the largest amount of money that really move markets, they're in both. They're not only in Bitcoin. Billionaires that have allocated some of their portfolio to Bitcoin have not moved 100% out of traditional assets. So what I'm pointing to here is putting these puzzle pieces together of all these different baskets of different assets, of different types of assets, from traditional, whether it's tech stocks or oil or NVIDIA or Amazon or Shopify, or these meme stock, which has become a meme stock now, like Bed Bath & Beyond, because they're down so low, and we get these GameStop style, just pumps and then dumps. These market liquidity squeezes that are happening from people trying to take advantage of low liquidity assets and catching investors off guard and really pumping them up and then dropping them back down. But we're seeing a lot of interaction between both traditional assets and crypto ecosystems. So what my point is here is this right here, seeing the strength of traditional assets pushing is actually indicative of, for me, of likely strength to be paused for a moment with Bitcoin and crypto ecosystem. You can still see some upside, but then when this cools off a bit, I expect to see a strong explosion, a strong movement in crypto, and then that liquidity flow that we pointed to before from TED Talks Macro, and that was this right here. coming then, allocations out of those traditional assets into Bitcoin and then Ethereum and then large caps and then alt season. Now, remember, we also have with Ethereum, the huge upgrade that they have, the Shanghai, I don't know if it's a fork or just an upgrade. I think it's the Shanghai fork where they're upgrading. They're now going to be allowing all those assets that have been locked for a year and a half plus at this point. All the ETH that's been staked, it's going to be unlocked. And there's basically also an upgrade with what they're doing within their ecosystem, which means there's a lot of news around Ethereum, which means there very likely will be some strength moving into Ethereum. And if there's strength moving into Ethereum, then what does that mean for the crypto ecosystem? Well, we can back out here and we can look, this is the total, let's go to the total two. Total two is Ethereum and altcoins. But we can see here, we had this ascending channel. We had this ascending channel or ascending wedge, but broke bearish, which is how about 68% of these chart formations break. And Bitcoin outperformed. This is showing Bitcoin outperforming. And then we're seeing a catch up with the altcoin market and a little bit of stagnation. If we draw this like this, we've got a bit of a ascending, a symmetrical triangle. You could call this a bull flag. I won't call it that because if you look at the option T here, if we look at how long this is versus how tall it is, this is way too top heavy for it to be a bull flag. A bull flag would be much smaller, much tighter sort of formation. But the point being here is that we're seeing with this, what we're seeing here is that there's been a strength within altcoins as Bitcoin has performed incredibly. Bitcoin is pausing now necessarily at this macro support, has turned into macro resistance at this zone. But this isn't the end of the world because this is giving us an indication that there is trust and excitement and hope coming back into the crypto ecosystem. And if this is pushing up here, and if we zoom down onto, this is a 4 hour, we see a bit of a range that this is trading in here. We had a push up, everybody gets scared, they trap all the bears, that finally, yes, it's breaking down, it's going down, traps you, and then reverses back up. Does this mean it's going to hold here? No, I still think at some point we are going to have a lower test. I don't want to say a lower test, but a test back down, whether it's going to be to this level here at the 26.5 to 26.5, I would say down to the 25.2 region. I think it's likely in the cards at some point. I don't know if it's in the more near term, because even with this small pullback here, this is a 4 hour, even with the small pullback here, look on the relative extrema. Look at how far out of the zone this came. This is showing when these are out of the zone on the relative extrema. This is part of the BitLab trading stack. This is out of the zone. This is showing bears are really making an attempt, but it's a very unhealthy attempt based on an aggregate of multiple different momentum, strength, velocity, speed, indicators, data points that are showing this is not a healthy move to the downside. Each time we see this, each time we see a push to the downside, look how far out of this basically momentum cloud, healthy momentum cloud that we see here on the relative extrema each time. And we're getting it bought up. A lot of bulls are there. And so what we're seeing is we're seeing health. We're seeing a very strong bit of just healthy sentiment within the space, within the crypto ecosystem. And now we tie this back. All of these puzzles fit together because then now we tie it back to where we're at with global liquidity. With oil prices getting cut, meaning oil prices not getting cut. Let me take that back. The oil production getting cut, which is going to drive up oil prices. And this is all in tandem with the narrative of what we were just hearing, of the BRICS countries and the alliance with Saudi transacting and settling oil potentially in yuan, which I think now is starting to happen. Russia, Brazil coming to an agreement. All these BRICS countries also talking about setting up with a different currency of transaction for settling a global trade and oil. this is putting a lot of pressure, not only on oil, but the US. And we're seeing the dollar index. Look at this. We have this long trend line all the way back from May of 2021, two of them, two different opportunities here, kind of right here. This is bouncing, but we're seeing weakness. This is a very weak setup for the dollar index, okay? And what this means is we're seeing a lot of pressure on the dollar, and therefore, do people want to be in an asset that looks like it has a bearish setup? This is indicating a likely flight to other investment opportunities. So this is looking as a potential setup for investment in assets other than long-term treasuries, other than bonds, so this is why we're seeing this flight. We're seeing, let's actually come back here. This is why we're seeing the markets start to push to the upside in the face of everything that we could understand. People are, expecting this massive drawdown, and I do think there will be a drawdown in the future, but we can only trade. And again, this goes back to what your strategy is, what your timeline is, what your time horizon is. You need to define that. If you are, somebody trading for a 10-year time horizon, then we have hit those lows. We're going to see a likely push up, and within a 10-year time horizon, we'll probably actually see another massive sell-off. If you're trading more of a position trader for instance, we're talking about Bitcoin. What's something that's important if you're a position trader in Bitcoin, but position meaning looking at trades over trying to take a position for the majority of midterm to macro moves. So taking a position somewhere in here to take advantage of the majority of this move. If you're looking at that, and if we're looking at where we're at right now, we're setting up, we've had our bullish impulse, we've had our retest, we've had our push up, we're having a little hesitation, but we're looking at confidence come back into the Bitcoin ecosystem. Also, you have to remember, let's pull this up, we have to always, no matter how many times we do it, we have to remind ourselves of macro considerations. No matter how often you think you're aware, you have to, it's the fundamentals. I forget who I saw say this, but it was such a great point. And I apologize, I can't attribute it to who said it, but I'm shouting them out. Whoever you are out there, it's a macro investor strategist. But if you look at professional athletes, one of the things they do, no matter how good they are, they have trainers. Tiger Woods, when he was at the top of his game, had a trainer. How did they also even get to the point that they were the best in the world at that sport, with their athleticism? It wasn't just God-given talent. It was the refamiliarization of the rechecking in with, the going over, the just engagement with the fundamentals over and over and over. So they are so ingrained that they have a railroad system within themselves to keep them on track, to always execute with healthy fundamentals. And this comes from humility. We all need to be humble. I'm saying something you already know. Great. Be humble. Listen to it. Maybe I will talk about it in a different way. Maybe it will re-emphasize to you that you need to check back in with these things. So let's jump back into these charts. We got the Bitcoin halving. We've talked about this a bunch. We tend to get a pre-halving pump and then a pullback. In this case, we got a large early pre-halving pump and then a very devastating pullback and then a devastating global market shutdown right here. This was this black swan and then super strong bullish impulse. Now we're at the stage you have to understand. This is why it's so important. Everybody thinks that there's going to be diminishing returns, meaning we're not going to get as big of a pump as previous cycles. So if this pump, let's say from this correction, let's do it from about here. This is roughly all the way to the top, 650% increase. So if there's diminishing returns, then by that notion, we'll get a smaller push in this cycle. Well, I'm going to argue something with you. I'm going to suggest something here. I still think that we're going to have at least one, maybe more, but at least one cycle that's going to just shock the expectations of everybody because look at how big this pump was from the, let's see, we had a pre-pump, cool off. So let's do it from here. This was a nearly 5,000% increase. Well, do I think we'll get that? There's no telling. I think it's going to be somewhere, probably some average, some aggregate between that sort of pump and this, 650% pump. Somewhere maybe in the, I don't know, 1,400 to 2,500%. So 14x to 25x sort of pump coming in sometime in this cycle or the next for Bitcoin specifically, which is astronomical if you think about it for the altcoins. Why do I think this? This is because we are now in the general sort of awareness of a lot. I mean, the majority of the Western world, I would say between 80 to 90% of people have at least heard the word Bitcoin, have at least have some association or basic awareness of the crypto ecosystem. We also see stuff like this, and look at this. This is a cryptocurrency ownership data, global crypto adoption. Okay, we've got 54 million people in North America, 38 million people in Africa, 260 million people in Asia, 31 million people in Europe, 33 million people in South America, 15 million. You realize how incredible this is? I've been in crypto I've been aware of it since about 2015. I've been in crypto since 2016. And back then, any mention of crypto on the news made Bitcoin 40, 50% jump in a moment, just because it's like, oh my God, people, this is going to give people awareness. Look at the awareness we're seeing here. 420 million crypto owners worldwide, and we're still not even scratching the surface of what Bitcoin and crypto is going to do in terms of adoption over the next 10 to 15, 20 years. We see this right here, adoption curves. Look at this, world population going up over time, 1980 to where we're at today. This is internet users. Look at the start. Look at how fast this is. Look at where we're at right now with Bitcoin. Look at how much growth internet users have. You know what's interesting about the difference between internet users and Bitcoin users are? Internet users had to start, and we had a slow start with internet adoption, because before the internet, for somebody to have to hear about the internet, they had to hear it through traditional means of media engagement, traditional mouth-to-mouth, word of mouth, I should say. But the difference is we are set to have technological, and we've seen it with other sort of technological advances and, companies that launch like Groupon, that they launch and they're, multi-billion-dollar industry or institution in the matter, like in exponential time than any business before that. We've seen this time and time again since the internet, because now with the internet, we saw bank collapses. There was a rumor or a whisper about issue, and then in the matter of 3 days, you see Silicon Valley Bank collapse. Silvergate is Silvergate, Silicon Valley Bank signature is what I was trying to say. Because we have internet now, we have like everything that holds, not everything that holds merit, because things that don't hold merit as well, but things that catalyze excitement, hope, or fear move at exponential speeds now because of the internet. Okay. Now, because of that, the reason I bring that up when we're talking about Bitcoin and we're talking about April potentially being a massive month, and mind you, massive month for April is going to be minuscule in the greater picture of where things are going over the next 30 years. But we're trying to trade. We're trying to set because we're so early in this adoption. When this really starts going quickly, we want to be in the we want you. I want you. I want all of us, everybody here in BitLab Academy. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. If you are involved, if you've ever made any crypto purchase, hit that like button. If you haven't, throw in the comments why. If you're not yet at least a $10 adopter, throw in the comments in chat or down below if you're watching this later. If you're watching over on Hit Network, make sure you're also coming checking us out over here at the BitLab Academy page, which is right here at BitLab Academy or youtube.com/BitLab Academy. But let me know why you haven't made the jump. But for those of you that have made the jump, we can see that we are so early. And so we could take advantage of if we are going to have a massive pump in April. And then we have to prepare that there could be, we have to have a strategy in place, take some profits so that then when we have that pre-halving pump and then pullback, then we can be in the best position for when Bitcoin does this. So we want to take advantage. We're somewhere about right here, maybe right here, but take advantage of this, harvest some profits along the way, get some money on the sideline. Maybe not everything. You can always have a long-term hold, and then have this pull. When this pulls back, you can use the data that we're learning here in BitLab, or through a variety of different sources, not just me, not just BitLab. None of this is financial advice. We're sharing strategy and examples and experience to show how you can make sure that you can take advantage of the majority of profits here. Because if you take advantage of this, for instance, let's see, if you had bought somewhere in this region, or you saw this as confirmation and you bought here, then that sort of increase was 164% increase to the upside. And this is not even talking altcoins. This is just Bitcoin. Now, if you took advantage of this and say you harvested 40% of the profits, okay? Now, you and you have that held in stablecoin. Now, so let's say you have one Bitcoin that you're owning, okay? One Bitcoin, 164%, 146, 150. Let's just round it even. 150% profits, okay? Now you harvest about 30 to 40% profits, whatever your strategy is. Now, when this drops and it comes down, maybe to here, maybe you're very patient. You're waiting until, the halving, and we see the global economic shutdown, and you take advantage of buying somewhere in this region right here. After this major dip, nobody gets the absolute bottom, but then this starts to come out. We see it consolidating in a bullish structure, and we get that. Then you get a minus 45%. Okay, so now you've just made huge profits to the upside here. You left about 60% or so in your long-term hodl portfolio, but then that 30 or 40% that you have on the sideline and dry powder and stablecoin just on the sideline, ready to deploy when the markets give you the opportunity. Then you get a near 50% drop and you reallocate there. Then that 30 to 40%, let's call it 35% that you took off in profits, when this drops, now is going to be worth the same amount would have been worth 70%, because you're doubling. This is dropping here by 50%. So now your 35% is worth, basically twice as much. So you're almost doubling the amount you had just on your take profit from taking advantage of this move. So what we want to do is, on this move right here, we want to get in position. I do think we could see some higher prices yet for Bitcoin, but what we're seeing is a setup for a push up, and we've shown this. Where's it at? Let's come back to my homepage. If you're not following me yet, make sure you come over here, follow me right here at KELLYKELLAM. Make sure you're following the correct one. There's only one Kelly Kellam. I've got about 20,400. Make sure you're following the right account. There's about 40 different scam accounts out there with my name spelled slightly differently. Make sure you're following the correct one. But what we're doing is we want to take advantage of this move here. Take some profits, let this pull back, redeploy, and have more capital to really take advantage of this upside. So if April is going to push, which I think we are going to get that push. Why do I think we're going to get that push? Because we're seeing strength in the Bitcoin market. We're seeing this. We've retested this major downturn resistance, where we're at within the 4-year cycle, seeing this, coming into, this is the halving, pushing up into it, pushing up into it, sell off. So having here, there's likely going to continue. There's a rhyme and reason to the 4-year cycle, because the halving of mining rewards. So we want to take advantage of this. We're seeing a bullish push. Is this it? Is this all we're going to get? I think we may have a little bit of a pullback, but I do think we're going to get higher. I think we're going to likely break through this macro support, potentially getting up to maybe 34 if we're on a more conservative level, maybe even up into the 42 range, up in here. So we've got this range right here. We have this range right here. Okay. this 34 to 37 range. And I'm doing that based on these previous supports. And we also have this range right above it. Which is right in the 42 range. Now, if we're very bullish and things just really start to explode for Bitcoin and crypto markets, then we have to remember we can always Option F or Alt F if you're on PC, draw your macro fib. We can see that this level right here, this 47, is also right about, this is a previous high, this is almost right about where the golden pocket is for this entire macro move. So we could see that. That's on a much stronger bullish narrative. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this one level at a time, and we can see that Bitcoin has moved very strong, but we need to take into account what's going on with the, dominance of Bitcoin here coming into this region and seeing, let's go back to the total 3. Going back to the total 3 here, we can see here, let's bring this out. We can see, look at this. This is all the altcoins. This is also even excluding Ethereum. This is just hugging bullish, by the way, bullish structure. We have this inverse head and shoulders, and the altcoin total market cap for all altcoins is just hugging against this resistance here. Once we break through this, there's a strong potential. I mean, if this breaks through, it's not only going to be a potential. If this breaks through, then this means that the altcoin market is exploding. So you want to be in position with both Bitcoin and altcoins. I would say right now, this is not financial advice, but if you're trying to figure out to find an entry, where we're at right now with Bitcoin, although this is a bit of, we could call it a bull flag, but again, this is getting very top heavy. But if we see a lot of liquidity flowing into the crypto markets and you know, any sort of positive news about regulation, which that almost sounds like a joke, but we could still see an explosion of strength of Bitcoin coming up here, but we still have a lot of resistance above this. But if this pauses here and is holding these levels and trade sideways, we have a strong potential for really life-changing setups for altcoins. So let's go through and do a bunch of TA. But first, I want to shout out everybody in chat. Have you hit the like button yet? You're here watching. I appreciate you being here. We got 232 people, only 94 likes. Hit that like button. I'm waking up bright and early for you guys, bringing you this content every day. We got a great community engagement here as well. Everybody in the chat, we do this regularly. Where are you tuned in from? What city or state or what country? Let's see who the furthest person away is from the stream. Let's see who the furthest. I'm in New York right now. In about 2 weeks, I'll be back in Atlanta. But if you haven't yet, remember we do a lot of giveaways on this channel. And what we do is come over here to the BitLab Academy Twitter page. It's right here at Academy BitLab. Come down to this each day. Retweet these because on Friday, I come and I do a wheel spin Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whichever day it picks. Then we do a drawing and the way you enter the drawing to win. And it can be a variety of different stuff. It could be multi-month membership. It could be lifetime membership. It could be indicators. It could be courses. But come here, retweet this tweet. Get engaged. Help share with the community the knowledge that you're gaining here at BitLab Academy. Give other people a chance to learn, because the more people that learn about crypto and healthy ways to navigate it, the better messengers they can be, the better beacons of success all of you can be for your friends and family, so other people want to get involved in this incredible revolution as well. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Now let's jump into some TA. I see we got Kush Sran. I never miss a show, Kelly. Thank you so much. South Carolina. We see Buffalo, Chicago, California. Man, where else we got? We got, we got a lot of people from all over. We got quite a few in California. You know, I was looking at the metrics. We have quite a few people in the UK as well. So shout out Vegas. What's up? I moved to New York from Vegas back in 2008. I lived there for a while. I will be visiting Vegas soon. Edmonton, Alberta. If you guys are watching this at a later point, Come and join us on our live show sometime. Get involved in the chat. If you're watching later, also drop comments down below. We do check them. Coins you're interested in, what your sticking points are, what your questions are. I really want to engage with that. So everybody, if anybody has any specific questions, not, where is this going to go? We're going to be talking about breaking down price targets here. I'm going to show you how to break down price targets for a lot of different coins, but sticking points with how to navigate the market or questions, throw questions in chat. If you have a super chat, we'll make sure we get those hit, but we are going to be pulling some questions to do some Q&A towards the end of the show. But again, make sure you come over here and retweet this tweet. This is today's daily tweet. You'll be entered to win some great stuff. So let's get into the markets. So what's going on? Bitcoin over the weekend. Let's get down to the 4-hour. We already looked at the macro. So I'm always adding to the chart, so you're always going to see this stuff change. This was a target that we had when we were up here. Look at this. We came right back down into the target. How do we know this? Well, we used on this channel, we use the BitLab trading indicators. This may look very messy, but I do this for you all because you can also have this basically like this and really clean it up to where you can have it just as how many divergences, but you can also just do full, and you can come here, show only last divergence. So it's cleaner on your charts. I have them all on there so you can see how effective these divergence calls are. And the divergence, just so you know, the divergence is bearish divergence on top, these flags, bullish divergence on bottom. This is not an indicator to buy or sell. This, which we are adding some incredible features to the entire BitLab trading stack we're working on right now. I'll be telling you more info about that soon. But these show you basically this move is not healthy. Like if there's other signals, maybe then you can look for downside price action. But then we have the rest of the indicator stack, which we can see right here: BitLab hidden volume, BitLab relative extrema, significant movement. All of these aggregate a number of other indicators. So we can see with significant movement, this is aggregating a bunch of data points that have to do with momentum, strength. Are things very overbought or very undersold? That's how we get these blue waves, very oversold, undervalued. Red waves, getting very overheated, overbought. So when we combine this with divergences, here within the hidden volume, and then we can see within the relative extrema, which is this right here, we can see on this specific indicator, we could see that there is a momentum wave, an aggregate momentum wave. And then we can also see the health of that momentum wave are these bars. And when these bars are sticking out of this wave, or in some cases on the opposite side of the wave, we can see on smaller time frames, like right here, this is showing that in this case, this is showing right here that the bearish pressures are unhealthy. And even though the move might continue down, you need to look to other indicators to potentially find your exit of your short or your entry for your long. So this is showing an unhealthy move down. This is out of context with the move. This is showing unhealthy attempt to the upside, likely pull down. So we're seeing right here, we saw this sticking out. This is on the 1 hour. We saw the extremist sticking out of the wave on this move. And so then we look to our next signal. We say, is there another signal that comes in? Well, this was showing that this move was getting overheated before it actually stopped. We see this by the relative extremist sticking out. And then we get 4 different bearish divergences: the MACD histogram, the RSI, the stochastics, the momentum. 4 divergences. What are bearish divergences again? Bearish divergences signify that the price action, the bullish price action at this level is not showing other strength and momentum indicators that agree that price can hold this level. That's what a bearish divergence is. Similarly, with the bullish divergence, price action bears are trying to take it down, but the momentum indicators are not agreeing with that. They're starting to show some bullish strength and bullish momentum coming in the background, and the price action to the downside will likely pause at these levels, and we can move to the upside. So what we want to do is combine the variety of different data points we get from multiple indicators, in this case, all of the BitLab trading stack, from the bearish divergences, the EMA ribbon, the divergences here within the hidden volume, the health of the movement within that trend, which is a relative extrema we see here. And we can also use this momentum wave. We see this trying to push up, but it's very weak, as we see with this, how big these waves are, how small this wave is. And we see as this crosses over, this also is following right after bearish divergence on the hidden volume. And we got the overheated symbol right here on the significant movement. And we saw the 1, 2, 3 sort of signal, and we saw a price action break to the downside. Similarly, we got a bullish divergence. Okay, we had the blue wave through this entire down attempt. This is showing oversold this entire wave. So I'm looking for other signals. Then we get a bullish divergence, and we get the relative extrema sticking out with the bearish attempt to the downside, saying the signal saying that's not healthy. And we get the blue wave showing likely trend bottom. And what do we get? Sideways action. The momentum wave starts to curve to the upside. So we can go to the 24-minute. And we could see, on the 24-minute, we got the blue wave. We got a couple bullish divergences here, RSI and stochastic, two of my favorite divergences, and we get a low print. So I would have taken this signal. I would have, I basically would have set this essentially with this trend line right here. I would have, on the breakout of this trend line is where I would have taken the signal to the upside. Now we see this pushed up. We see this pushed up all into this. Let's go to the 2 hour. We see this push up into this zone, and of course we had the blue wave. But as soon as it started pushing up, we're having a lot of relative extrema showing not healthy bullish movement to the upside. It's moving too fast. It doesn't have the strength to keep up with this movement. Now, as soon as what we immediately see after this is this undervalued, very undervalued, oversold blue wave. As soon as this starts pushing up, we also see this flips to gray. So now this is the momentum's aggregate is more neutral. But then we get right at a previous price action level. Okay, that's a TA signal you should always include in using indicators. Then we see a bearish divergence. Okay, we see a bearish divergence, so then we can come to smaller time frames to get resolution on that divergence. Okay, look at that. We had a red wave, a lot of extrema to the upside, and we get three bearish divergences on the market intelligence and the high print. So this was giving us an indication with this being very, very, very overbought. So this is how we utilize the most effective way to utilize the BitLab trading stack and any indicator series really is to use a variety of different indicators that look at different parts of the market, different strength, different momentum, different divergences. I mean, even within the BitLab market intelligence, we can see this is, look, it reads relative extrema, on balance volume, Chaikin money flow, relative strength, stochastics, momentum, MACD histogram, money flow index, as well as having this EMA ribbon that you can see is resistance. And then we're trying right now, this is completely collapsed. This is trying to bears and bulls are in an ultimate fight now. So we want to utilize our indicators and understanding the momentum and the grander context to have the most effective understanding of what's happening. So with Bitcoin right now, what I am seeing is let's go to the 1 hour. We are really trying to fight this macro resistance we have above head, but we also have lower highs starting to form here. So this is a little bit concerning in the short term. We're seeing and we're seeing the collapsing of this EMA ribbon, and with the collapsing of this EMA ribbon, we finally really kind of break through it, but we get back above it. And so there's indecision at these levels. And so we've got to, I don't want you to be trading emotionally with these levels right now. I want you to have a plan in place. So with this, basically we have this trend right now. We can see these yellow lines and this white line here. The price action is really just chopping through here. And this is why we're seeing a little bit of indecision also within the altcoin market, which we've seen with it pushing up, pulling back, pushing up. There's not full certainty about the next leg of the explosion because of where we're at right now with this macro resistance overhead. So we need to trade carefully, but we are seeing, if we come back over to the 3-day, we're seeing this does show that it is oversold. It's a little bit oversold. Does this mean a cool off's in play? Well, let's go to the weekly. Red oversold. Okay, let's come down to the daily. Neutral. Okay, so this red it's flipped neutral. If this flips to red as well on the daily, then I'd be looking for the more imminent move. The price action likely will already have started moving down, but I'd be looking at testing these levels down here in the $25,000 zone. But coming down to the 12-hour, this has flipped red, but we come down to the 8-hour. We're seeing indecision. Saw how it was red on the 12-hour, but on the 8-hour, this is flipped gray, and this move to the downside is showing that this is an unhealthy move, but we're getting bearish divergence on the hidden volume. So we need to be in position. We need to have already been in position from a lower point. If you're trying to look for an entry on Bitcoin right now, this is not the place for an entry unless you're looking to potentially short. But even with that, I would have very tight stops. If you're looking for a long entry, then I would be waiting for a little bit of clarity here, breaking above this level or coming down and testing one of these option F. We're doing a Fibonacci, coming down and testing this 382, this $25,000 level here, but not just having it set to buy, letting the price action pull back and seeing what the context is within the market. So that's what I'm seeing right here. I'm seeing indecision right here. I'm thinking it very well could also grind here and go sideways and just be very frustrating for traders, in which case we need to be looking at all of our alts as well. So let's take a pause here. Everybody hit that like button. We got 133 likes. A little over half the people watching have liked. Hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Now, what we've got a message here from my mods here. We got some, these are some of the coins. We're definitely going to hit ETH, but we're also going to do Gala, Optimism, Matic, XLM, VET, ICP, and Mina Mo, Crow as well. I forgot. So let's go ahead and look at a bunch of these. Let's first do Ethereum. Coming onto the chart. And let me know if there's any super chats, because I haven't had a chance to scroll through here. I will definitely try and hit those. And also, mods, if there's any poignant questions or great questions in the chat, throw them in there. I will make a point to answer some questions towards the end. So let's look at not market cap. I want to go to ETH, just ETH. So first thing, we talked about this a lot last week. The setups we're seeing on basically coins versus Bitcoin, the Bitcoin pairing, Ethereum. Okay. We're seeing a consolidation here on Ethereum. Now this is hugging. You see how the dominance was down here? Now the narrative is switched, and now this is hugging this upper resistance. Is this going to break out? Well, look at this 8-hour. What do you see here? On the relative extrema, look how far this small attempt down didn't even get to the support, and look how far out the relative extrema came. And so there's some underlying strength in this, unless there's some big news shift or some bad protocol thing, that this is looking like the bulls are really more inclined to try to test this region and potentially break out. And again, this is the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Let's look at Ethereum to US dollars. So we had a inverse head and shoulders here, but at this point it's kind of very ugly. I'm going to delete this. We're going to delete this. We're going to delete this here. And what we can do here to identify a potential target to the upside, if we have this bullish breakout, we're looking at this, by the way, I want everybody, disclaimer here. I'm not saying we're going absolutely to hit these targets immediately. When we're doing price target analysis and we're setting up and utilizing our tools to pick targets, we're mapping out a potential direction. So if we're seeing bullishness and where there's a thesis that April, May predominantly have a bullish run, have a bullish impulse continuation before a May sell-off, then we're mapping that out. We also will, and I take into consideration all the time on here, the downside targets. Today, we're going to be focusing on if the bulls take the lead, how do we map this out? How do we predict where things are going? So with, let's go ahead, double click on the chart, and we're going to see on the chart right here, we can see the levels that we've had mapped out from before. Now we have this giant wedge, but we also have a big falling wedge. Big falling wedge. Let me go to 12-hour. A big falling wedge here as well. This is very ugly because of this big sell-off here. We can kind of, yeah, I mean, it's regardless of what this is, we can see this is probably the dominant structure here, more of a almost a symmetrical triangle, but we've broken out of that. So what we're looking at here is this zone right here. We've broken out above this downtrend resistance, and within this downtrend resistance, we do see I won't call it an inverse head and shoulders because we don't really have we do have a bit of a right shoulder, but it's nowhere near equal size of this left shoulder. This is what I mean: left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This is very flat, but this is hugging this resistance line. So what we can do, let's pretend as if it was a bit of an inverse head and shoulders. You measure from this neckline down to the deepest part of this head, and we can come up here and you do it from the neckline up. This will give us a target up here in the $2,500 range. So this is how we use patterns, candle patterns, chart formations to map out a potential area. Now, what we always want to do when we're mapping out targets to the upside, we're mapping out targets either direction, is we want to look to points of confluence. So in this case, we have this Fibonacci, which is an incredible tool in trading because it's basically a mathemagical. That's a quoted right there. It is a mathematical. It's basically law of nature, the way flowers organize themselves to have perfect leaves, the way nautilus shells have perfect symmetry, the way trees organize themselves in the forest. It's literally, they call it, that's what by ancient, I guess it's kind of ancient, famous mathematician from many hundreds of years ago, Fibonacci, and it's named after him, the Fibonacci sequence. It's a golden sort of ratio, which is what this golden pocket is. And using this based on market moves, we can map out where likely price action will go based on this law of nature. And why does price action respond to the law of nature? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because price action is only a reflection of the psychology of market participants, of humans within the space. Yes, there's AI algorithms. Yes, there's bot trading, but those are also, the laws and principles of those also governed by the probabilities of how humans are going to interact with markets. So essentially, price action is a representation of the psychology of the market, and therefore the psychology, which is of human nature, is part of nature. And we can see this play out time and time again, price actions respecting Fibonacci pricing points, or Fibonacci levels on charts, because it's just because of this, I mean, magical sort of coincidence, I guess. But we can see price action from here to here, comes up to the golden pocket, comes up into this golden pocket, the golden ratio, has a lot of trouble here, gets rejected, comes down to the 38.2 fib, and then breaks through it, has trouble at the 786, gets rejected, comes back down to the golden pocket. Now we're riding on this level, and we can see that this 1.382, which is a Fibonacci extension, it's a multiple of it. So we can see that this target above is also in line with where previous price action support is. So this will likely be a zone, this zone here. We'll do it right here, right at this 1.382. So the target may overshoot the zone, but it's in the region of this area, but it's also just shy of the 1.618. Now, when we see this actually likely breakout, we can kind of option F, do this fib from this zone right here to the bottom. We can see that's where I got this fib, from this zone here to the bottom. We can see that the 1.618 is right at 2,607 US dollars. The 2.618, which is a likely target when you start getting strong bullish movement on small time frames and large time frames, is you see why this is a strong tool in reading, is because this is not just an arbitrary location. We're not in price discovery yet, which means we have not broken past all-time highs. So we have previous price mapping, previous points of interest from previous price action in history. The 2.618 is almost perfectly in line. Look at this. Doing it right here. Option J. This is this region's previous high. I mean, incredible how this lines up. So we have these levels when Ethereum breaks out. We have a little bit of this is a $25,000 zone, very similar to that breakout we had that Bitcoin struggled to break through. And then once it did, then we started getting that very quick movement to the upside. Now we can see right here with Ethereum, this is that moment when this breaks out to the upside. I'm looking at a target at about $2,300, and then any sort of consolidation here, and then a continuation. Maybe a small pause here at the 1.618, which is right about $2,600. This is basically a whole region here. Once we break this level, next movement, major move. Next target is up at $3,500 level. This is how we can utilize the various tools for price action targets. Now let's move on to the next one. Let's look over at I'm going to do Crow first because one of the people that was in here first. I don't want to incentivize you. Get in here early in the stream. These people I know are really, really into, they're really deeply part of the community, and I really want to make sure I'm taking care of the people that are really deeply part of the community, as well as all you newcomers. But I got to give a little bit of extra love to those people here early, and I try to hit some of the coins, some of the projects, some of the questions that are here pre-stream, and also that first 5-10 minutes. We take note of that so we can make sure your answers and questions are hit. So let's do Crow, CRO, Crow USDT. Let's do it on KuCoin. And I got allergies. So let's do auto. The question was also, there's a question related to that. I don't remember what it specifically was. It was something about, is Crow going to perform well because of what's happening with the banking system, potential banking collapses, this and that. Well, let's stick with the technicals right now. Let's look at the charts. What are the charts saying? This is what we want to do. First thing, what do we do? Always macro, midterm, micro. So we got the macro. We understand that. Let's go to the 12-hour. Excuse me. A lot of coffee this morning. So look at that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 touch points on this. This is a 12-hour. We're just getting a general map first because I have not done TA on this one probably in about 2 years or about a year. So we're coming into this zone here, but we have a couple different areas of support and resistance. I'm going to kind of go like this as well, because you see, look at this whole zone here, rejection, 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 wick up to this zone, rejection. So now I'm going to kind of tighten this up a bit. That looks a little more likely. Now let's go ahead, pull it out. Let's go to our traditional indicators. I want to make sure you guys see how to use traditional indicators as well, not just the BitLab trading stack, which aggregates all these and about 10 or 12 other indicators. But for those of you that don't have it, let's look at this. Okay. Well, we're seeing right now, we're seeing the momentum. We're on the 12-hour. The momentum is shifting to the downside. Why do I know that? The MACD is, look at this, rolling over, crossed down, now red. This has crossed this line. Well, we can see that the momentum is shifting to the downside, but at the same time, we're seeing the stochastics. We're seeing the stochastics come down, which is actually a good thing. If you're looking for a bullish push, hit the like if you want a bullish push. Hit the subscribe if you haven't yet. Join our community. But if you want a bullish push, what you want to see is the stochastics. If you want a really strong bullish push, you want to see the stochastics low. You want to see the stochastics down in an oversold area, the stochastic sort of strength very low, and then get some sort of bullish divergence and starting a rounding of the MACD histogram right here, which is showing that these two lines are starting to converge, meaning that the momentum is shifting upwards. You want that to happen with the stochastics low. on the biggest time frame you can get. Have it, see, so we have the stochastics low here on the daily, but on the 12-hour, we're seeing them get reset, which means this could be setting up for a bullish push. So let's come down to the 4-hour. So this had an attempt at a bullish push. Let's go to auto. This had an attempt at a bullish push, we see, but got rejected near this line. Come back down. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Let's see if we can get some sort. Well, I can see right here. Let's see option T. We can see. Okay, that's a bit flat. Option T. That's about the same. So we want to see. I mean, I think Crow is setting up for a bullish push on the nature of it being hugging this resistance line. The stochastics are resetting on the come down to the 1 hour. Yeah, also let's see how this performs right here. If we hold this volume node that's directly below us, that's what we really want to see. Now, if we come to the BitLab trading stack, let's go to the 12-hour. Okay. So we see the relative extrema sticking out to the downside. That's bullish for us. That's a good thing. Now let's come down to the 4-hour. Okay, we got a blue wave. Okay, and getting darker blue here. This is very good. We see the histogram of MACD, on balance volume, and the hidden volume showing some divergences. We see this has been sticking out. Let's go to the smaller time frame. Okay, now we can see. Okay, so this had a push up and the bulls got rejected, and we can also see that within the relative extrema having sticking out. Look at this. Also not only sticking out on the opposite side of the cloud. So there's a little bit of a rejection there. Is it a little bit of market manipulation? Maybe. But we also see that this blue turned to gray. So there's something to watch here. I would look for a zone down here at this level, essentially right at this previous, basically this line that we have right here, this zone right here, down here at the 666. If we lose that level, then depending on what's going on with the market, coming down here to the 6, turn off auto. Coming down here to this level, 633 cents. But this would be depending on what the indicators and the momentum and the strength are showing. This would be a very a good opportunity, I would think, for Crow. Now, what's the next one? We could see. Okay, let's do Matic because everybody's loving Matic. Matic USDT. Turn off these moving averages. I don't even know why they're on. Now let's go ahead and mute this. Let's come to the 12-hour. Oh, you know what? I got to go back to Crow. My bad. I want to give the potential targets to the upside. So option F from the top to the bottom of this move. So we can see on this move, we'll go to the 4-hour. Okay. We can see on this move that this already retested this golden pocket zone right here. Now, when this breaks above this level right here, this downtrend resistance, I expect that we will push up and likely retest this golden pocket again, maybe even after a little bit of time, a couple days, into this resistance that we have from all the secondary resistance that I set up. Now, if we push up to this region, this is a golden pocket and that resistance. This is at basically 7.8 cents, which is basically from here, roughly a 15% push up. Now, at this region, this is where true market movement will happen. When we clear this golden pocket and this resistance level, then I expect we'll have a strong move. I don't think this is going to be as strong as a resistance. I think it's more likely this area right here, and I'll show you why. This is a lot of previous support here, but this is also in line, as you can see, this area right here is in line with where the 1.618 is, right above us. The fib extension, golden extension right here. So this golden pocket, essentially this is the golden extension, the 1.618. So if we're able to push up on Crow and break through this 7 cents level and get some positive action with the altcoin markets, and they're starting to rip, I'm seeing a test here basically at the 7.8 to 7.9, just shy of 8 cents, and then a move up here, likely with a little bit of stops along the way up here to the 10.5 cent level, 10.3 to 10.5 cents. That's what I'm seeing on Crow. Now we did Crow. What was it? Oh, I was doing Matic next. So Matic USDT. So we could see here, boom, option T. We got our trend line. I'm actually going to do this from a different zone because it has more touch points. Okay, option T. So this is also, see this hugging, once it got rejected, now it's hugging this upper resistance. If we break up from there, option F, we can do a Fibonacci from here to that base. Now, look at this, 2.618, almost perfectly where the previous all-time, not the all-time high, the previous high was recently, the recent high in February. That's where the 2.618 is. So what I'm looking at here with Matic is the fact that we can see, look at all these, every time this is pushing down, these relative extrema bars are sticking out. Now we got it on both sides here, to the upside and the downside, but this was being dominated by bearish divergences on the volume. Whereas now we're not getting those bearish divergences on the volume. So there's a trend change there in terms of the market behavior. We can understand that just by looking at the volume. All bearish, look at this, all the way since beginning of March, all bearish divergences on the volume, hidden volume. Now we finally get it one bullish divergence, one more bearish divergence, but then now no divergences. And we're seeing like every time we're getting a move down, a relative extrema is sticking very far out to the downside. Now we get the blue wave. So the spot I'm looking at now with Matic is next move up from here is about $1.17 area. And then another sort of pit stop here at this previous high of $1.24. And then strong movement up to the 1.618, which is also in line. Look at this. I measured this from here to here, and this 1.618 is in line with where this previous peak is, okay, which is about $1.38, $1.40. And then the next stop up from there is about $1.61. So we're seeing these things set up for some healthy upside. And you need to make sure that even though there is healthy upside, don't trade this just because there's possible big moves to the upside. If you're going to, you need to make sure with every move you take, you have a plan in sight. We're seeing these leading indicators of the trends starting to show bullishness come in with all these relative extremes to the downside on every move. No more bearish divergences on the hidden volume. We see, blue on this downside. Finally, it comes up. We're getting these red waves showing the tops, and we're getting a lot of blue sort of flashing on and off. The blue starting to flash here again. And so what I want you to do is, if you are going to do something like this, have healthy behavior. If you're going to set an entry right somewhere in the zone, then you need to make sure that you set it with healthy risk management. You can do it if you're trading spot with a larger sort of percentage, roughly about where just below this previous low. Or, if you're trying to trade very tight and be okay with the stop being hit, which is a smarter move, is to essentially trade this option, I should say, is to basically take your trade on breakout here or breakout and retest, depending on if you're conservative or aggressive, and then have your stop loss set a little bit into this resistance level. And you could have your take profits where you take some profit when you get to this zone, and then you leave some on the table, but you move your stop up, and then you have your next take profit somewhere up in this zone, and you move your stop up. So you don't leave your stop all the way down here. Once your trade is in profit and you get up to the zone, then you can readjust your trading strategy and make sure that no matter what, once you're in profit, even if the stop is hit, your entire move, your entire position is always in profit. That's how you can very healthily do this. Now, let's do VET. We haven't done VET on this channel. I don't think ever, only because there's just so many coins to do. Who out there is holding vet? I've never been a holder of vet, but it's always been on my radar to pick up, and just something else always ends up taking my focus. So we have a symmetrical triangle here. We're seeing, okay, let's see. Let's turn on the market intelligence. Okay, it's it's very in line with where the markets are bouncing up and down. Okay, we're getting a blue wave at these supports, red wave at the resistance. Now we came down, we got the blue wave right here, but we're seeing this somewhat hug the top of this. So on this range, the range on this I would take would be I take it from about right here, option F, and we can adjust if this doesn't feel like it lines up with anything. Well, this lines up. 1.618 is right at this level. Where's the 2.618? All the way up at the 3.5 cents, which is above this region, but that's okay. But we're seeing right now, same thing. We can do one more, option F, down to the zone. So we have our golden pocket. We have our golden pocket. If we break out of this region, aggressive traders trade on breakout, but they have good risk management in mind. If you're newer, I really want to emphasize, have your targets in play. For instance, we see this bouncing. When this came down, that was your opportunity. So if you miss this opportunity coming up into this region, don't just trade it because you're trying to front run it, because you very well could get another opportunity at this zone, or you can get the opportunity on breakout of this, at which point then you'd still have about a 8 to 10% move up into this golden pocket, and then a continuation up to previous high of this range, which is up here at 2.9 cents, up to, look at this, 1.382 is right at this previous action top. That's at the 3.3 cents. The 1.618 is all the way up at 3.5 cents. And then the 2.618 is all the way up at 4.5 cents. Now let's do another one. We have not done Mina on this channel either, I don't think. Let's do Mina. I'm hearing a lot of people talk about it back at the offices at Hit Network. So I definitely want to take a look at this. So we have our downtrend resistance. So when we're doing targets, we need to understand what our levels of resistance are first, if we're talking about price action to the upside, so that then we can have a strategy in place for when we get into the zone of when the trade should be entered or exited. I'm seeing a couple, kind of a variety of. This is not looking as bullish. Let's go down to the 2 hour. So okay, so if this were to break out to the upside, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about this more and more. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Option F, we come to the top here. Quick question. Have you hit that like button? Have you hit that subscribe button? Ding that bell. Let us know. I just want to let you know, because we got a couple things more to do before we go. Come over here to the BitLab Academy daily, basically Twitter page at Academy BitLab. Retweet this daily tweet right here. You're entered to win. We're going to be drawing names from this at the end of the week. You're entered to win some really great stuff. Could be lifetime access to the courses. We have all new courses, all new content, brand new website. We're literally in the process of rolling out. We just had it's a huge undertaking. And you also have access to win the indicators. I've been going over the indicators a lot. Come here to bitlabacademy.com. Go to the indicators page. Hop in here to get the entire trading stack. You can also use BitLab or BitSquad 15 or BitLab 15 for additional 15% off. We're going to have some really good deals coming up as well, so stay tuned for that. Now, getting back to Mina, what we're doing is we're doing this range right here. We're going to look for when we break out to the upside. We're going to have a pause at this region right here, basically 8.1 cents, 8.1, 8.2 cents right here. I think depending on how strong the market's moving, 8.8 cents right here, golden pocket. Continuation up to about $1. Is that $1 really? I'm saying, sorry, I can't read because my screen is so small with these multiple screens. When this pushes up, we're going to have a little bit of a hesitation here at 76 cents. That's the more correct, accurate thing. Pushing up here to about 82, 83 cents. Depending on the strength of the move, a pause at about 87, 88 cents. Continuation up to about $1. Then when we're getting a lot of very strong bullish movement, $1.23. The 2.618 ultimately is where I'm looking at it going up to $1.82. That's what I'm seeing on Mina. Now, let's do one last one. Let's do Gala. Really quick, we're not even gonna do all the TA, option F from this move to the bottom. We're gonna see if it lines up with other price action. Okay, so we have this move. If we break out of this zone right here, we can see that we can see that the golden pocket is up here at the 4.6 cents range, 4.5, 4.6 cents. A pit stop at the 5.15 cents. Continuation, if we have that, this is speaking if we're having the bullish narrative. Continuation up to this region here, the 6 cents range. And then, of course, the 2.618 up to the 7.5 cents range. Does this line up with anything? Let's look at this. Yes, it does. But this was also, I was doing this on the 2 hour. This was 7.5 cent range. Let's do on the 4 hour like we were doing all the other ones. This is going to give us better targets as well. So look at that. We came up perfectly golden pocket. If we make this to the upside, we're going to have a pit stop at 5.1 cents up to about 6.3, 6.4 cents. And then ultimately the 2.618 is where I'm looking at, which is a previous price action rejection and support, which is all the way up at the 11 cents, 12 cent area. This is what I'm talking about, potential when we get strong bullish movement with the altcoin markets. Now we're going to do one more coin. Let's do Casper. I don't think we've ever done Casper on here as well. What we're doing here, auto, is looking at 4 hours. So we're going to do it from this move right here. It's the most previous local move to the bottom. Do we have any sort of, it's not much price action. So let's do it on is there another? This is just what we're going to do it on. So if we break this level, which we've already tested, 4.1 cents up to about 4.6, 4.7, we can see the 1.618 is a previous high here, which is about 5.5 cents, 5.4. And then ultimately up to the 2.618, which is about just shy of 7 cents. Now, the last thing we're going to look at before we go is look at Optimism. Optimism, huge partnership they did recently with Coinbase. So let's go ahead and look at this. Now on this move, I'm going to do it from here, option F to the bottom there. Now in this case, we're seeing a bit of trend resistance right here. Let's see how the BitLab trading stack is looking on this. Let's go to zoom out a little bit. We're seeing a lot of choppiness, but we're seeing blue waves come in, blue waves come in. We're seeing a lot of bearish narrative here though on as this is hugging this resistance line. But every time it pushes down, it's showing that the bearish move downside is not healthy because we're seeing this relative extremist sticking out, sticking out, sticking out. Now we're getting the blue wave. So is this the time where Optimism is maybe breaking out to the upside? Well, let's go ahead and look. If it breaks out to the upside, we're currently at about $2.17. The next target up is right here at this golden pocket, $2.75. Target above that, let's go ahead and see what our fibs are. 786, which is about almost $3. The 1.618 is at $4.24, and the 2.618. This is if we get very strong bullish narratives coming into the bull markets. Sorry, coming into the liquidity flowing into the altcoin markets, coming up ultimately likely to test the $5.78 level. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. We're utilizing the Fibonacci's as well as price levels. There's other tools as well we can utilize, but I wanted to shout out everybody here in chat. If you have not hit the like button, please hit that like button. Shout out to everybody that was here early. Make sure you go over there and retweet that daily tweet here at BitLab Academy, and make sure you are following us down here at all of the socials down below, and you check out bitlabacademy.com. Again, my name's been Kellam. If this was your first time here, I hope you come back. Thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful week. Now, I'm signing off for now. I will see you all later. Adios, muchachos.